Feeling nothing does not mean being empty. It means being unreachable. Most people are controlled not by force, but by emotion. Anger makes them reckless. Fear makes them obedient. Desire makes them predictable. Machiavelli understood this long before modern psychology gave it names. He saw clearly that the person who controls emotion controls outcomes. Your enemies don't need to overpower you. They only need to provoke you. The moment you react emotionally, you reveal leverage. You show where it hurts. You show what matters. You show how you can be moved. And once someone knows how to move you, they don't need strength. They need timing. This is why emotional people are easy to manipulate. They explain when accused. They defend when challenged. They lash out when threatened. Every reaction hands over information. Machiavelli's solution was ruthless but effective. Emotional detachment, not coldness, not apathy. Detachment, the ability to feel internally without allowing those feelings to dictate behavior. To feel nothing externally is to control everything strategically. This is not about becoming inhuman. It's about becoming disciplined. The Stoics echoed this centuries later, but Machiavelli applied it to power, conflict, and survival. He understood that visible emotion invites interference, while emotional neutrality creates uncertainty, and uncertainty destabilizes opponents. When people cannot read you, they hesitate. When they cannot provoke you, they lose rhythm. When they cannot predict you, they lose control. Feeling nothing is not weakness. It is denial of access. This video is about mastering that denial, about learning how to disengage emotionally while remaining fully aware, fully intentional, and fully in control. Because the person who appears calm in chaos is never calm by accident. They are calculating. And once you stop reacting, something changes. People stop testing you. Conversations lose their hooks. Manipulation collapses on contact. Next, we'll explore why emotional reactions are the easiest form of control and how Machiavelli advised eliminating that vulnerability completely. The first thing Machiavelli would strip away is emotional visibility, not emotion itself. Emotion becomes dangerous the moment it's observable. Anger tells people where to push. Fear tells them when to apply pressure. Excitement tells them what you want. Sadness tells them when you're weak. Most people leak all of this constantly, then wonder why they're easy to influence. Machiavelli understood a brutal truth. People do not respect emotional honesty. They exploit it. This is why he advised leaders to master their expressions long before mastering others. Because the face, the tone, the timing of reaction, these are signals. And signals are read faster than words. When you react immediately, you surrender tempo. When you emote publicly, you surrender leverage. When you explain emotionally, you surrender authority. The manipulator doesn't need facts. They need feedback. Feeling nothing outwardly removes feedback entirely. This doesn't mean suppressing emotion until it explodes. It means delaying it, processing it privately, deciding consciously whether it deserves expression or burial. Machiavelli believed power begins when impulse no longer dictates action. You feel anger, but you don't show it. You feel fear, but you don't move from it. You feel desire, but you don't chase it. That gap between feeling and action is where control lives. And here's the paradox. The less you react, the more people project. They assume confidence. They assume calculation. They assume strength. Silence and neutrality are interpreted as dominance because they signal that you are not emotionally accessible. People stop pushing when nothing pushes back. Now let us break down how emotional detachment turns chaos into advantage and why the calmest person in the room always controls the outcome, whether they speak or not. Chaos is only dangerous to people who feel it. Machiavelli understood that disorder doesn't destroy power, reaction to disorder does. When emotions surge, most people rush to restore comfort. They argue, they justify, they explain, they seek relief, and in that rush, they give up position. The calm individual does the opposite. They slow down, they observe, they let others exhaust themselves. Emotional detachment turns chaos into information. When everyone else is reactive, the detached mind gains clarity. You notice who panics, who overreaches, who reveals insecurity, who betrays alliances under stress. Crisis exposes character, but only if you're calm enough to watch it unfold. Machiavelli advised leaders to remain composed during unrest because panic spreads faster than truth. The one who remains still becomes the reference point. Others begin looking to them not because they demand authority, but because stability attracts attention. This is how control emerges naturally. You don't need to dominate conversations. You don't need to escalate conflict. You don't need to assert superiority. Your lack of reaction does it for you. People mirror emotional tone. When you refuse to mirror theirs, imbalance forms. They become louder, faster, sloppier, and every escalation weakens their position while strengthening yours. Detachment also protects you from false urgency. Manipulators create chaos to force decisions. They rush time. They manufacture pressure. But when you feel nothing, urgency loses its grip. You decide when to act, not when you're pushed. And that timing advantage is everything. The detached mind does not confuse noise with threat. It distinguishes between real danger and emotional theater. That discernment prevents costly mistakes. Now, let us examine how emotional neutrality makes you unreadable. Why being unreadable is one of the most powerful positions in any conflict or negotiation. Unreadable people are uncontrollable people. Machiavelli understood that the fastest way to lose power is to become predictable. When others can read your reactions, they can plan around you. When they know what excites you, frightens you, or angers you, they can steer you without touching you. Emotional neutrality destroys that advantage. When your face doesn't change, when your tone stays level, when your timing is inconsistent, people lose their ability to map you. They don't know if they're winning or losing. They don't know what worked. They don't know what to try next. And uncertainty breeds caution. This is why unreadable individuals are often described as intimidating even when they're silent. It's not aggression that unsettles people. It's lack of access. Humans are wired to read social cues. When those cues disappear, anxiety takes their place. Machiavelli advised leaders to reveal only what benefits them and conceal everything else. Transparency feels moral, but in conflict it is suicidal. The unreadable person controls information flow, and information is leverage. You speak when it serves you. You react only when it's strategic. You reveal nothing out of impulse. This forces others to show their hand first. They talk more. They fill silence with intention, and while they expose themselves, you remain intact. Being unreadable does not mean being deceptive. It means being selective. You are honest when honesty costs nothing. You are silent when silence protects position. Once people realize they can't read you, they stop trying to manipulate you, not because they respect you, but because manipulation becomes inefficient. Now let's look at the final transformation that occurs when emotional detachment becomes habitual and why those who feel nothing externally are almost impossible to control internally. When emotional detachment becomes a habit, something irreversible happens. You stop being movable. Machiavelli understood that the highest form of control is not domination over others, it is immunity from being dominated, and nothing grants that immunity faster than the ability to feel nothing externally while thinking clearly internally. This stage, people can no longer bait you. Insults don't land. Praise doesn't intoxicate. Threats don't rush you. You experience them, but they no longer command you. This is where true control begins. Most people confuse emotional detachment with emptiness. In reality, it's the opposite. You feel deeply but privately. You process internally. You choose when, how, and if emotion becomes action. That choice makes you sovereign. Machiavelli believed that those who cannot be emotionally provoked cannot be politically defeated, because every tactic, guilt, fear, admiration, urgency, remove the hooks, and the entire system collapses. At this level, you negotiate without attachment to outcome. You walk away without resentment. You observe without absorbing chaos. Your decisions are no longer reactions, they are positions. People sense this shift immediately. They stop pushing boundaries. They speak more carefully. They hesitate before challenging you, not because you are threatening, but because you are unmoved. And here is the final paradox Machiavelli understood. When you feel nothing, you control everything, not because you seek power, but because power has nothing left to take from you. You are no longer controlled by approval, no longer rushed by pressure, no longer steered by emotion. You act when it serves you. You remain silent when it protects you. You move when the outcome is already decided. This is not cruelty. This is mastery. And once you reach this state, you don't need to prove control. It is felt by everyone in the room. If this changed the way you see control, don't let it stop here. Drop a comment with what stood out. Hit like to support the channel, and subscribe to Mind of the Alpha for more strategy, psychology, and power. Stay disciplined. Stay unreadable. I'll see you in the next one.